Hello, and welcome to the introduction to SYSVIEW Batch Reports and Utilities, or BRUTIS for short. Have you ever triaged a CICS transaction problem in the SYSVIEW user interface, but needed deeper insight into the history of the transaction? While troubleshooting dataset or volume issues using SYSVIEW, have you ever had the need to run a utility to compress a dataset or defrag a volume? Have you ever needed to run a list recon to gather dataset information while using the SYSVIEW IMS component? I'm sure your daily work requires you to perform functions like these, where you need to interrupt your SYSVIEW session to go find JCL to customize and submit. In order to execute batch jobs, you may have had to get out of SYSVIEW. Search for the JCL that does what you want. Try to remember if it is the right utility, and also remember the correct syntax for the utility's input. Then you had to submit it several times perhaps, correcting JCL errors, changing parameters, etc., all to get it to run correctly. Finally, you had to go search for the completed job mixed in with your other batch jobs on spool. And once you found the correct job, you had to get into the output files to find the right information that you needed. This way of working is very disruptive, time-consuming, and error-prone, all of which elongates your mean time to problem resolution. In addition, it is highly personalized to your use of JCL and not easily shareable with your team and not easily shareable to new employees. How can SYSVIEW batch reports and utilities help with this process? With BRUTIS, your workflow is streamlined. Let's see how. You can execute batch jobs in context of the data on your SYSVIEW display, allowing you to stay in SYSVIEW and execute the report or utility that you need using input from the data that you are viewing. Allowing you to continue to work in your SYSVIEW session while the job is executing in the background. When you are ready, you can easily find the report or utility that you submitted through the BRUTIS feature apart from all the other jobs that you may have run. While viewing your completed report and utility list, you can drill down directly into the output file that contains the report or utility output that you need to review, reducing the time it takes to find the information that you need to complete your task. Finally, you can easily share common reports and utilities and workflow procedures with your team and with new hires. Let's take a look at how BRUTIS accomplishes this workflow. First, BRUTIS extends existing SYSVIEW functionality of symbolic variables and templates. You may have used symbolic variables in SYSVIEW Rex code, external line commands, or user-defined commands. You may also be familiar with templates, which are used in email notification and PTF analysis. Now we have added new parmlib definitions that describe your batch reports or utilities, associate symbolic variables with JCL template members, define how BRUTIS is to fill in symbolic variable values from SYSVIEW display data, and identify where the most important output is located. We will cover the details of these definitions in additional BRUTIS presentations. In addition, BRUTIS comes with a new set of commands that all start with the batch reports and utilities prefix BRU. BRUList displays the list of defined reports and utilities. BRUJobs displays the list of executing or completed reports and utilities. BRUSUB is a function command that is responsible for ensuring that all variables are defined, performs variable substitution in template JCL, and submits the job for execution. SYSVIEW also provides line commands that drive BRUSUB from the list display, as we will see shortly. BRUCON displays variables to screen connection information, which we will cover in an advanced presentation. Finally, BRUVIEW allows you to view fully substituted JCL before you submit it. This may be useful when you are first developing template JCL. Finally, BRUTIS comes with many useful out-of-the-box reports and utilities for CICS, IMS, MQ, ZOS, JVMs, SMPE, IPCS, and more. Let's now take a look at how BRUTIS can be incorporated into your SYSVIEW CICS triage workflow, for example, to help shorten the time it takes to get to the data that you need when diagnosing a transaction problem. Let's start with a CTRAN log display. Perhaps you're using it to see how a transaction performed, but now you need to understand if the transaction's behavior is normal or not. One way to do this is to run a report writer report against the CICS transaction detail SMF records stored in the CICS transaction log stream. BRUTIS comes with a new global line command, BRU. By executing the BRU line command on the line that contains the transaction name that you're interested in, several things happen. First, resources from the line where you entered the BRU line command, like the CICS region name and the transaction name, along with other screen information like the CICS transaction log stream, are assigned to symbolic variables that are associated with one or more batch reports and utilities. Next, the BRU list command is launched to show you a subset of the list of reports and utilities that have associated symbolic variables whose values were set. In other words, the list of reports and utilities are in context of the command and its data. From the BRU list display, you can do several things, one of which is to simply submit the report that will give you the information that you need. SYSVIEW provides several out-of-the-box reports and utilities, but you can extend this list to fit your or your team's specific needs. In this example, let's choose to submit the out-of-the-box CICS transaction program usage report. Note that the screen that you came from is still available for you to return to after submitting your report. When you submit the report, the template JCL member is processed using the BRUSUB command that we mentioned earlier. BRUSUB will substitute any symbolic variables that are required, and then submit the JCL to the JES internal reader for execution. You can now return to your CTRAN log and continue doing other triage activity while your report executes. You can check on the status of your report by linking to the BRU jobs command. The BRU jobs command only shows you the batch jobs that you submitted through the BRUTIS feature. The jobs are organized by the BRUTIS definition name, so you can easily identify the report that you need to review. When you select the report using the select line command, the DD name identified from the report definition is used to drill into the job output directly to the data that you need to see. In this case, the report writer daily program usage report is displayed. In summary, BRUTIS shortens the mean time to problem resolution by making it easy to execute batch jobs in context of the data on any display, allowing you to stay in SYSVIEW to continue to work while the job is running. Presenting completed report and utility jobs apart from all other jobs that are executing or are on the spool. Navigating you directly to the output data that you need to facilitate the next step in your workflow. Thank you for watching. Remember to look for additional videos in the Batch Reports and Utilities series.